was here, and even the Rams showed up. They defeat the Seattle Seahawks 9-3 in a home opener with the Los Angeles Times, Mike DiGiovanna, Gary Klein, Bill Plaschke, Sam Farmer, and Dylan Hernandez. We didn't make official pregame picks, but Bill, you tell me that Sam Farmer is the only one who picked the Rams.
Yeah, I thought the Rams were going to bounce back strong. They've always played Seattle tough. They'd won 3 out of the last 4. They get after Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson had the ankle. And we see the biggest change in teams between weeks 1 and weeks 2. Huge change with the Rams, and this is a big win. So.
More than 91,000 people piled into the Coliseum. Bill Plaschke, you're not among that count, but you were one of them.
It was amazing, and the thing was, they didn't go home. Everybody talks about early leaving LA crowds. We were down the field at the end of the game. We could not hear ourselves think. 91,000 stayed around, cheered, went crazy. The players were really fueled, energized. Seattle's last drive was stopped with a fumble, with a strip and a fumble recovered by Alec Ogletree, who said the crowd egged him on and got him going. All the Seahawks, all the Rams did. It was amazing. LA homecoming, first game in 22 years. You can tell these fans had waited 22 years to see a team because, they got here and started cheering and wouldn't stop.
Well, it wasn't very entertaining, though, right? Let's at least acknowledge that.
Sam Farmer thought it was a great football game.
Well,
I did. I like good.
Not much had changed with the Rams in terms of their offense, right? We got a lot of entertainment out there with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, CeeLo Green. They're in their throwback uniforms. But the Rams on offense,
there was no entertainment. They haven't scored a touchdown.
There was no entertainment until Alec Ogletree caused that fumble. And Dylan, what did you think of that offensive performance? I know you wrote about it.
Yeah, it was brutal. I mean, not only are they not going to win if they keep playing offense like that, like they're going to have trouble keeping people awake. Once like the novelty of all this wears off. They obviously, I don't think that there's any secret coming into the season. The key to the offense was somehow get the ball into Todd Gurley's hands. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I think they know they have to do that. The problem is that they don't respect the passing game really, And even like on certain passing situations, I think we saw there was one time I remember, they put 3 receivers out to the left. It didn't matter. Seattle wasn't full. They knew they were going to go to Gurley. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have to get more creative, I think, in how they get the ball into his hands.
According to Todd Gurley, though, his performance, it's whatever. What about the secondary, Mike? I know that's what you focused on.
Yeah, it was a really interesting day in the secondary, especially for Troy Hill. This kid came on early in the second quarter, and you could literally see Russell Wilson's eyes light up. Within the first 2 series, he threw deep on this kid twice. One was batted down. One was a defensive pass interference. One was an offensive pass interference play. But he was really a part of one of the biggest plays of the game, where he got beat for 50-something yards on the last drive. But he also saved a touchdown with a pretty desperate tackle around the receiver's ankles, Lockett. So rough day for him, bit of a rough day for the secondary all in all. But defensively, you have to look at it as a plus.
Well, Mike, was that a story on the secondary or a secondary story you wrote? Or was it both?
It's never a secondary
You're
story.
Right.
When
If
Mike
DG
DiGiovanna's
writes it,
right,
it's not a secondary
story.
Okay, I just want to make sure. It was amazing, and I know Dylan's right. This very well could be just a fluky, one game, one season thing, but it really did show that the fans here are hungry for this kind of entertainment. And again, amazing. It was so hot out here. It was like 90 degrees. Lines were long. It's so uncomfortable in this Coliseum. Everybody says it's beautiful and historic, and it's horrible to sit in. It's horrible. It's terrible to sit in.
Way to put it lightly, Bill.
But people stayed. Nobody went home, and they're willing to fight the brutal traffic and the train traffic to get out of here. I think it says something. I think it's a very promising and very surprising after how horrible they were in Santa Clara on Monday.
Sam, I know.
The most uncomfortable guy at the stadium was Magic Johnson, who was sitting in the seats here at the 50, had to turn sideways and watch the game sideways with his legs out in the aisles until Eric Dickerson came up, rescued him, and took him down to a field-level suite. So.
And LeBron James was also on the sideline. Sam, I know you said the NFL week to week, you never know what's going to happen. But can you make a prediction what's going to happen in L.A. if the Rams don't produce more of an offense?
Well, I think this is who the Rams are right now with Case Keenum. If they can get no turnovers, try to get the running game going, as Dylan said. And there was a point in the second quarter when they did get the running game going a little bit, and it opened up the pass for them. But at some point, they're going to have to try Jared Goff. Now, I personally think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. They're going to go to Goff. You wonder, he's a little bit more of a turnover risk, and clearly he is inexperienced. But you wonder if he might have been able to cash in on some of those plays down by the goal line, down in the red zone, that they couldn't take advantage of today.
You
so.
know what my favorite chant? Well, you talk about LeBron. My favorite chant of the whole game when
Kobe?
LeBron was here. Kobe, Kobe, Kobe. I love that, and LeBron had to hear that. That's just tremendous.
Lindsay, what do you think that this result does? A lot of talk about Jeff Fisher and Les Snead and those contract extensions.
Oh my goodness, are they going to get the extensions now?
What do you think?
Well,
what do you think it stands?
There's no way after you get blanked 28-0 in an
Right.
opener that you get an extension, or at least an extension announced. I think they're probably going to think fans are softening. They win their home opener, then they're going to go on the road. So if you're going to sneak in an announcement, it's got to be this week.
Seems
Well, the Rams are looking at it and they're saying one of these games was an anomaly. They're just praying that San
They
Francisco.
scored 3 points in their second game, or 9 points, excuse me. I don't think it's an anomaly. They're the only team in the NFL to have not scored a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean it's one interesting thing. Pete Carroll was 49 and 5, I think, in his years here.
We forgot about Pete Carroll. He was here tonight.
He was here tonight, and he never in his USC years, 2001 through 2009, went without scoring a touchdown. So, and tonight he said, we haven't scored a touchdown in 2 weeks. Actually, they scored a touchdown last week, but must have been very.
They won the game with a
Wait a minute,
touchdown,
Sam.
didn't they?
How many of
last
those
week?
wins were vacated by probation? If it's a vacated win, isn't it no touchdown?
It's a
oh,
touchdown.
Gary's not buying
it's
the
a
vacated.
touchdown. Those touchdowns
Those
still stand.
asterisks
If
don't
it's a
matter.
vacated win, they scored 0, right, Sam? So maybe he did score 0.
How about that thing before the game? That kind of blew my mind. We run into Scott Boras, the
He was down on the
baseball
field.
agent.
He
Yeah,
was
he's
down on the field.
and it turns out that he and Pete Carroll at the University of Pacific lived like in the same athletic dorms and have known each other all this time. Scott had claimed at least that that Carroll was undefeated whenever he showed up to a game. So I guess that streak's over.
We got a 64-page binder showing that.
There's something about Pete Carroll that I really want to see. There's a Disney movie, I think it was called World's Greatest Athlete. It was with Kurt Russell
No.
and Pete Carroll.
It was with Jan Michael
Oh,
Vincent.
Jan Michael Vincent. Yes, we know that. We have a history with
Too much for me.
Gary's got the Jan Michael Vincent poster on his room. Yeah.
in that movie as a college student at University of Pacific. In fact, might have returned interception or something. I want to see that movie. I want to see Pete Carroll.
You know what,
as a college
Sam? You
player.
can go home
go
tonight
home
and you
and
can
Netflix
watch
that
that
stuff.
You'll
movie.
be watching that on Netflix as you're going to Tampa to see if the
World's
Rams
Greatest
are going to
Athlete.
score a touchdown.
Sam,
But,
I can
okay.
expense that.
Now,
Can I?
now wait. Now
will,
besides the problem the Rams have, they're not scoring touchdowns. They're also still committing penalties, right?
Just
Mike,
a few.
Just a few. On that first drive, what's going to happen if they continue to have those kinds of mistakes?
Well, I mean, penalties kill you. They extended a couple of drives up in San Francisco last week that the 49ers scored on. They extended the Seahawks' only scoring drive today. One of them was just not a very smart play by Ogletree on the late hit when Wilson is sliding. NFL is making a big push to get rid of those late flagrant kinds of fouls. So. I think it's a sign of an inexperienced team and probably not a very good team when you have all those penalties.
Hey, they're 1-1.
They're 1-1.
So, okay, so,
it
all right,
was-
so Deej says they're not very good. You say they're bad, Dylan. Is that correct? They're going to be bad. All right, I think they're below average. I will say that.
They're
That's-
7-9.
Yeah, maybe 7. I think he'd be happy to get 7 and 9. Some at 7 and 9.
No, Jeff Fisher's not going to be happy with 7 and 9.
On Hard Knocks, he said he wasn't going to be happy with 7 and 9. In fact, went
But he
all the way
said
up
he's
to
not going to
10
be
and
happy
6.
with
10 and 6. Yeah.
So what do you think, Lindsay? What's your opinion? Are they any good?
I've seen some lot of 7 and 9 type stuff out here.
All right, there you go.
All right, so the Rams once again 1-1. Unless you like that kind of football where they score 9 points like Sam Farmer does, maybe you can hope for better next weekend. Though they do leave Los Angeles with a win, with the entire crew, who likely won't be together again like this for a very long time. We're out from the Coliseum.